Samsung's A series is literally one of the best-selling smartphone lineups in the world. And this right here is one of their newer ones, the Galaxy A17. It's a budget phone that's not trying to be flashy, it's just trying to get the basics right. But the real question I have to ask is, did Samsung improve this A17 over the previous A16? Or is this basically the same phone, just with a new name? So going through the unboxing experience, inside the box you've got the phone itself, and of course a USB-C to C cable, SIM ejector tool, and that's pretty much it. Now design-wise, Samsung really didn't reinvent anything over here. You'll notice the biggest change, and really the only change, is the fact that it now has a single module camera layout, which seems to be a trend that Samsung's following, and we've seen it firstly with the Z Fold 7 and with the Galaxy A56, I think, and now we're obviously going to be seeing it with the S26 Ultra, and of course they're doing it with their budget devices as well. Now the body itself all the way around is obviously plastic because it's a budget device, but I must say, holding it, it doesn't feel flimsy, it doesn't feel cheap, so that's a good sign. Another thing that's also very similar to the A16 is the IP rating, which over here we have an IP54 rating device, which was the same as the A16. So in simpler terms, of course, that means that you can splash some water on it, you can get some rain on it in certain cases. Just don't go swimming with it because it will get into the device. It's just splash proof. And in summary of all of that, it's basically built like a budget phone. There's no premiumness to it. It's plastic, there's no glass, there's no titanium, nothing. So if you were expecting anything like that, which I don't know why you would, then this is probably not the device for you. Now let's talk about one of the best parts about the A17. When it comes to the screen of this device, you're getting a big Super AMOLED display, which is really great for the price range that this device is in. And that really means that the colors are a lot more punchy, accurate, and also the blacks will feel a lot more deep. So when compared to something like an LCD display on the A07, you're gonna notice a massive difference. Also similar to the other newer A-series devices is also the 90 Hz refresh rate that it has. So it's nothing higher than the others. It's not 120, it's not 60. It's got a nice middle ground of 90 Hz, which is nice and smooth for scrolling through TikTok and playing some video games. It's not bad, it's also not great, it's just a nice middle ground. But of course there is a catch, and that's unfortunately that these displays don't get as bright as you would find on flagship devices. So when you're outdoors in bright sunlight, you might find that slightly annoying. And of course there's no adaptive refresh rate, which is something you would expect with a budget smartphone. So yes, it's not perfect, it's not flagship worthy, it's just a nice little budget phone for everyone's basic needs. Now here's where opinions will start to split, and I kind of get why. With 4 GB of RAM, everyday stuff like WhatsApp, TikTok, Instagram browsing, and all that, should be fine, no stress. But the moment you start multitasking or running heavier apps and just doing a lot more with the device, you'll start to notice that it will slow down. A lot of users online have been saying that they find when they firstly get the device, it's pretty good. It runs smoothly, it's okay. But over time, as they load things onto it and run different applications, it just tends to slow down more and more. So if your main focus when buying this phone is to play a lot of crazy games on it or to be a power user and use higher end applications, I wouldn't say this is the right choice. Because those lags and stutters and all that is stuff you're gonna unfortunately run into, and when you do, it's just gonna frustrate you. But I do want to clarify that that doesn't mean that you can't play games on it and you can't still enjoy the device. There are certain games, and really most games, are optimized for mobile devices that aren't really high spec. So at the end of the day, it really just does its job, and it does it pretty well. Now this is actually one of the more better surprises. The main camera on this device takes decent photos and videos that are not as sharp as the S25 Ultra, but in good lighting, it's really difficult to tell the difference. Look, if you're really going to zoom in on those pictures and nitpick all the detail, yes, you'll find some major differences. But looking at it from a normal distance and viewing and showing your friends this picture, it's going to look normal and very similar. I do find, however, that the A17 does add a lot of warmth to the image and also quite a bit of smoothing to try and make those images look a lot better. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, in my eyes and from my point of view, it just makes the image look unnatural. And where this device really does fall short is, as you all know, in low light situations. So if you're in a room that has maybe one light or in a darkish area, you know those photos just aren't going to come out nice. And then finally, in terms of the video, there is only 1080p 30 FPS. There's no 4K or 8K or whatever. It's the very basics that you need or you would get in a camera. Is it the most wonderful camera on a phone? Well, unfortunately not. But is it basically all you would need in a camera to get the job done, to shoot a photo of something that you maybe need to send to someone? It's perfect, that's fine. I just wouldn't suggest it if you're someone that really wants to post on social media and maybe build up a following. Now the battery itself is really solid and genuinely reliable. You can easily get a full day out of it, or even sometimes a day and a half, depending on how you use it. But unfortunately, the charging of the device is quite a bit slower than other devices in its price range. I mean, today we see lots of other companies pushing for 100-watt charging speeds in their cheaper device range, which is insane. So yeah, I can say that the A17 isn't terrible, like it doesn't charge terribly slow, it's just not fast. Some other extras to mention that come on this device is of course the fingerprint sensor, which is nicely placed on your power button, as well as face unlock, which I would say don't expect it to do well because it is using the front-facing camera and there's no real technology in there to do proper face unlocking. So it's there, but it's not great. And of course, you got some of the other basics like NFC, Bluetooth, and 5G, depending on the variant that you buy. Another kind of downside that I would say I have about this device is the fact that they didn't add an audio jack. Now the reason I'm pointing this out is because it's known as a budget smartphone. And so when people buy it, they're obviously buying budget tech along with it. So they're not really trying to buy expensive AirPods or Samsung Buds, stuff along that line. So for a lot of people buying budget smartphones, they're getting wired headsets or wired IEMs even, which are on the budget side of things. And so now those people would have to go and buy an adapter to change it from the 3.5mm audio jack to USB-C. Just a small issue I thought I'd bring up because I have had people tell me that they would like it to have an audio jack because they use wired headphones. Maybe something to think about for future A-series devices. Now for the price of this device, especially here in South Africa where I am from, this device just makes sense. On Samsung's website, they're selling for about 3,500 Rand for the non-5G variant. And what you're really paying for is a great display, reliable battery life, and Samsung's long software support of about 6 years. So yeah, that all just makes genuine sense to me. And we all know Samsung does have the best software and most simplest software around. And that's what I really like about it. You are, however, paying this amount, sacrificing performance, fast charging, and a lot of Samsung's premium AI features. Yes, those do not come on these A-series devices, unfortunately. So that's kind of a big downside. So here's my honest verdict. Yes, the Galaxy A17 isn't exciting, but it's dependable. It's built for people who just want a phone that works, lasts all day, and doesn't frustrate them with messy software. Now, to answer the question from earlier, did the A17 actually improve over the previous A16? Honestly, I'm going to have to say very little. But at the end of the day, if you are due for an upgrade coming from an A06, A05 device, or even an A16, then why not? Because on the bright side, this device is priced very similar to the A16. So at least you're getting the newer model without having to pay much extra.